Looking at the A lineup, Meg Sunblom will once again line up as goal shooter. Chelsea Spagnolo as goal attack. Liz Thomas will start as wing attack. Jess McDowell will start in the centre. Jordan Beattie, wing defence. Laura Skipworth as goal defence. Alicia McLeod will line up as goalkeeper. And a few more interchanges for Yale with Ellie Hendry starting on the bench alongside Jess Kennedy and Amy Taylor. Game here is scheduled to start at 12:20pm, so all the live action won't be too far away. And don't forget as well, at 2:20pm we will have the match-up between the footy between both of these clubs, Alexandra and Yale. As mentioned, that game will start at 2:20pm. That will also be available to you through the local footy hub and also through Yarra Valley FM 99.1. So once again, another action-packed day here in the Outer East. Really looking forward to it as we do have the coin toss happening right in front of us. And it looks like Alexandra are going to go to the right-hand side of your screen. Yay to the left, and I believe it will be Yay with the centre pass. That will be through Jess McDowell. So action not too far away. We'll take a look at some of the other matchups from around the grounds in the Outer East today. In a Division 1 A grade, we do have, as mentioned, Alexandra v Yay. Belgrave will be taking on at Yarra Junction. Powelltown will take on at Yarra Glen. Warburton Millgrove will take on at the Pakenham Lions. Should be an interesting game, that one. Seville will have the bye. And we'll then head across to Premier Division as well. Plenty more action in the top tier, of course, in the Outer East as well. Hillsville will take on Rock. Mount Evelyn will take on Monbulk. That should be a pretty interesting game. A good test for Monbulk in Premier Division. Emerald will take on Upway Tacoma. Wandon will take on Jimbrook Cockatoo. And Woorialek will take on Linda Fernie Creek. And, of course, all of those matchups will correlate and line up with the footy as well. So, as mentioned, pretty action-packed day. Pretty sunny day up here in Alexandra, it has to be said as well. Top of 17 degrees has been predicted. So, no real excuses for the players' conditions. Just about perfect, you'd have to say. Not too hot, not too cold. And got to count our blessings that we're still getting quite nice days like this right at the end of May as we really start to head into the guts of winter. We are about to get action underway. It is Jess McDowell with the centre pass. It's Alexandra versus Yay. Round 8 action. And we are underway. McDowell wasting absolutely no time to get that over the top to Spagnolo. It comes back to McDowell. Here is Sunblom. Back to McDowell. He's been pretty busy already to start off. Would have the ball in hand 3 times. Comes across to Thomas. And Sunblom gets a first look at goal and puts it away. So good start for the Tigers. They get the first on the board. And Caitlin Haggis with her first centre pass for the day. And I think the Yay defence just breaking too early. So we'll come back to Halligan. Halligan, short, Haggis. Long pass, good one as well. And here is Gesler. And she gets the first goal for Alexandra. And just like that, they get a quick response to the Rebels. And it's 1 goal apiece. Early days in the match of the round. So once again, McDowell. Waste no time to Thomas. Good long pass to Sunblom. Sunblom comes across, finds Thomas. Spagnolo tries to get to the front, but once again comes to Sunblom, who has a second look and puts through a second goal. So once again, Yay get that lead back. 2-1 it is. Haggis. Quick pass here is Hedger in her 100th game. Lateral pass was a good one on that occasion there to Beattie. Not Beattie, sorry. In fact, that was Jung Fur. Looking at the wrong list on that occasion. Haggis. Quick pass to Hedger. She goes to Gesler. Haggis looks at Hedger. And Ellie Hedger, here we go, will line up for her first goal in her 100th game. And she has absolutely nailed it. So Ellie Hedger gets her first in her 100th game and scores. Once again level, 2 goals apiece. Sunblom, Thomas. Laterally back to McDowell. Sunblom again is involved. Goes out wide. McDowell, good pass. Nice feed. And Sunblom makes no mistake. Gets her 3rd goal for the afternoon and gets the lead back for the Tigers. So Caitlin Haggis out of the centre. Once again, that was to Hedger. As they work it around. Hedger again is involved. Haggis. Ellie Hedger for another time in this passage. Puts it up for Gesler, who collects it cleanly and gets a second look. Georgia Gesler and converts. And once again, 3 goals. 3 goals apiece, I should say. Scores a level. No letter at the moment in this game. So McDowell, Thomas. Good long pass to Sunblom. Sunblom back to McDowell. Spagnolo, good feed. Sunblom found plenty of room to work with. Converts a goal once again. Yay with that 1 goal margin. So pretty open contest it is for the moment. Hedger looks around. Retreats for the moment back to Skipworth. Skipworth again is involved. Quick pass is a good one. That worked out there to Piers and now Gesler, who can level the scores. Doesn't convert. It was knocked away on that occasion by Skipworth, but comes back to Gesler. Gesler with a look and puts it through. And once again, it is all level. So no breaks as of yet in the match of the round. Both teams converting on their centre passes. So Thomas gets them moving forward to Sunblom. Comes back to Thomas. Taken out of the contest is Jung Fur. Spagnolo to Sunblom, who gets another look at goal and again makes no mistake and again gets Yeo back in front with that 1 goal margin. So Haggis out of the centre. Quick one to Piers. Piers back to Haggis. Long feed. Good feed. And Gesler again on the end of it. And Gesler again converts the goal. And again scores a level. 5 goals apiece. So back in the centre. Quick pass. Wasting no time was McDowell onto Spagnolo, who found Thomas. And that will come back to Skipworth. Lateral passes are good. One to McDowell. And here is Spagnolo, in fact, who gets her first look at goal and converts. And again gets the lead back for the Tigers, 6-5. So pretty high scoring contest in the Rochford Wines match of the round. As that'll come back to Jung Fur, Piers, Hedger. Playing an 100th game for those just tuning in. Piers did well to recover it. Comes back to Haggis, looks at Hedger, but retreats. Back to Jung Fur. Piers really unsure where to go on that occasion. She went back to Halligan and Gesler. Looked really good so far in this game. Doesn't convert with the first opportunity, but got the rebound off the post and doesn't convert a third opportunity. Hedger eventually got it under her control. And Ellie Hedger still doesn't convert, but Gesler will get a third look. And this time she does convert. So on the 4th opportunity, Alexandra do eventually level the scores. So McDowell wasted no time to Thomas. She'll go back to McDowell. McDowell fires it out wide. It was a tricky one, but Sunblom made it work. Long pass and through the hands. And first real defensive interception comes from a overweighted pass. So Skian out of defence. Wasted no time to Halligan, but they've turned it over. Oh, Sunblom nearly colliding with the post. She just managed to collect herself and wasn't too dangerous in the end. So Liz Thomas with ball in hand. Spagnolo had plenty of room to work with, but they've turned it over here for the Tigers. So Sarah Skian off the last line of defence. Short pass is a good one to Halligan. Halligan, Jung Fur collected it cleanly. Haggis will go back to Jung Fur. Assesses the options, high up and under ball. Haggis essentially stole it from Piers, but it'll work out anyway. Gesler, good strong hands. And she'll get Alexandra in front for the first time today. First lead change on the Rochford Wines match of the round. And the Rebels get an early break, 7-6. Piers again is involved. Gesler's the short option, and she got it to Hedger, who got out the back. And Ellie Hedger in game 100 converts her second goal and extends the margin to 2. So on a bit of a roll here are the Rebels. Thomas got it from McDowell, who will go back to McDowell. Thomas, this time on to Sunblom. McDowell again for a third time in this passage, finds Spagnolo. Spagnolo's got plenty of room to work with, but they still decide to go to Sunblom, who converts and gets it back to a 1 goal difference. And once again, Caitlin Haggis in the centre. Waste no time. Did that well to Hedger. Hedger comes across to Jung Fur. Short pass, Haggis. Hedger. Haggis again. Gesler. Absolutely dominating in that goal circle and gets that lead back out to a 2 goal difference for the Rebels. So back in the centre once again. McDowell out wide to Thomas. Long pass was a good one to Sunblom. Comes back to McDowell. Retreats again through hands and Ellie Hedger. Collected it cleanly. Got it to Haggis. Haggis short to Halligan. Halligan back to Haggis. Jung Fur right in a measure here. Near the transverse line. Hedger underground. Gesler gets it. And Georgia Gesler can make this a 3 goal difference. And she does. And suddenly the Rebels have got a real break. They've got a 3 goal difference and Caitlin Haggis has got the centre pass. Hedger to the front. Wins the ball. Will look to go back to Halligan, but decided Jung Fur was a better option. Haggis gets them moving forward. This is Piers. Gesler had it knocked away. Unable to complete the job though was McLeod. And now Ellie Hedger for another goal in game 100. And she has converted. 11-7. So at the centre they go once again. Spagnolo to Thomas. Thomas gets the moving forward. Here is Sunblom. Lateral pass through hands. Is it kept in by McDowell? No, it is not. And Alexandra will reclaim possession. So this chain of play will start with Skian. They go short to Halligan. Halligan gets some moving forward to Haggis, and then she keeps it moving to Jung Fur. Looks around. Halligan again is involved. Hedger gets moving up the court, finds Pearce. Pearce missed the pass to Haggis, and the ball trickles out of play. So Alicia McLeod, who hasn't had a lot of the ball so far. Good pass, that should work out just fine on that occasion to Beattie. Beattie finds McDowell, it'll come back to Beattie through her hands, recovered nicely by Skipworth. Gets it moving forward to Thomas. And then it'll come back to Skipworth. Has a short option of Beattie and goes for it. Beattie to McDowell. Thomas, Spagnolo. Good pass, good feed. And that'll work just nicely. Sunblom converts, gets it back to 3 goals the difference. Haggis with the centre pass, and again the A defence just breaking too early. So Pearce, no, it'll be Halligan who'll start with it. Hedger, Gesler, got it from Haggis, and Georgia Gesler converts, and again gets the difference out to a 4-goal margin. So reasonably comfortable position for the moment for the home side. They've done this pretty well. Skipworth to McDowell. Long feed. Is it kept in? It was, but it was turned over. Halligan did really nicely. Ball ends up in the hands of Jung Fur. He gets the moving forward to Pearce. Pearce looks around. Wanted Haggis, but went back to Jung Fur. She gets it moving forward to the attacking third. That was to Hedger. Can Gesler keep it in? No, she can't. And Yeh will get a reprieve in defence. Alicia McLeod on the last line for the Tigers. As Beattie as a short option, but goes a little bit further, and that worked out to McDowell. Might have put too much on that pass, and they've turned it over. And Alexandra can find themselves on the counter-attack. Pearce short to Halligan, who goes to Jung Fur. Wants to go back to Halligan. Collected that one nicely. Finds Hedger. Hedger will go to Haggis. Haggis, Gesler. And they've turned it over the Rebels. So again, Yeh hold up defensively. So ball in the hands of McLeod. McLeod through hands, but it worked out okay in the end. That was to Beattie. Beattie with a short option there on that occasion. That was of Hendry. Beattie. Good long pass. Skipworth. Beattie. Hendry, sorry, in fact. McDowell. Goes out wide. Hendry. Sunblom. Gets it under her control. Comes back to McDowell. And Spagnolo goes short to Sunblom, and this has to go through for the Tigers, and it does. So they get it back to 3 goals. So a bit of a stalemate the last couple of minutes and a lot of scoring. Just the defenders fighting themselves on top for the moment. Pearce has got ball in hand once again. She comes back to Jung Fur, who finds Haggis, looked at Hedger, but goes long, and Gesler. Beautifully collected in the one hand, and Georgia Gesler again converts and gets the margin back out to 4 goals, and a pretty quick reply there for the Rebels. So McDowell, that was knocked away there by Halligan. Gave away contact though on Spagnolo, so it will come back to Skipworth. Skipworth, Hendry, Spagnolo, quickly on to McDowell, controlled that nicely, found Sunblom. Does she have a look at goal? She does, big Sunblom. And more importantly, she converts. Again, gets it back to 3 goals the difference. So can the Tigers find an interception? Alex have been able to hold this 3 to 4 goal margin off this double break pretty well. Hedger calls for it, but the ball will go further. And once again, Gesler has just been very commanding in that goal circle. And again, gets the margin out to 4 goals. And again, the Rebels get a pretty quick reply. Beautifully intercepted there on that occasion by Ski, and they get moving. Haggis out wide to Jung Fur, through the hands of Pearce, and Yeh will get this ball back. So Beattie, laterally to Skipworth. McDowell looks at Hendry, but then on to Beattie. Sunblom. So Beattie, this time to Hendry, knocked away, and Jung Fur did beautifully. Pearce got it from Hedger. Goes back to Jung Fur, comes back to Pearce, looks around and finds Haggis. Haggis, Gesler. And Georgia Gesler extends the margin of 5 goals. They're really starting to take a commanding position in this game, are the Rebels, as we start to near quarter time. Haggis, good one. Comes back to Halligan, moved it forward to Pearce. Hedger, laterally, and they're forced to turnover here, the Tigers. So Beattie's got ball in hand for the moment. Found Spagnolo, quickly onto Hendry. Long feed, good feed. And they've done that really well, have the Tigers on the counter-attack. They get it to Sunblom. She converts, and it's back to 4 goals the difference. And Jess McDowell again has the centre pass. She comes out wide, finding Spagnolo, who'll go back to McDowell. Looked at Hendry, but then retreated to Skipworth. Skipworth, really unsure, gets it away just in time. Sunblom quickly to McDowell. Looks at Spagnolo. Goes underground. Is it stolen by Halligan? No. Spagnolo unable to convert. Sunblom collects it from the other side of the post. Skeen was taken out of the contest. Sunblom converts back-to-back goals for the Tigers. They get it back to 3. So Caitlin Haggis to Pears. And there we go. I'm involved in the action for the first time today with a quick little touch. Hendry gets it moving forward. Spagnola did really nicely. Ye could potentially get this back to 2 goals, the difference. Halligan's gone down. She seems to be okay. And there we go. Spagnola converts the goal. Ye get it back to 2 goals, the margin. And Jess McDowell has the centre pass. So Halligan's going to stay on. She looked a little bit sore momentarily, but no, Halligan is going to come off. So not a particularly good sign there. Jasmine Collette will come on. So Alex make their first interchange for the day. Here is Meg Sunblom. Can she get it back to 1 goal? The difference she can. And Ye have scored the last 4 goals of the game. And they've broken this margin right down. Really important for the Tigers as we start to near quarter time. Haggis looks ahead, gets it to Hedger. It'll come back to Haggis. Long pass, good pass. Here is Gessler. And converts. There we go. 16-14. So out of the centre they go once again. Hendry. Good long pass. Works out just fine. Working it around. McDowell. Sunblom. And Meg Sunblom keeps her team in the game. Gets it back to 1 goal, the difference. 16-15. So Pears retreats. That was nicely done. Comes across to Collette. Haggis. Hedger. And that is quarter time, and the Rochford Wines match of the round. And a pretty tight contest. They led by as much as 5 goals late in the quarter, did the Rebels, but Tigers have done a really good job to get the margin back to 1 goal as we head into the first change. We'll head off to a short break for quarter time. When we come back, we'll have all the action from the second quarter in the Rochford Wines match of the round.
Better than a Big Four bank?
A bank that's bigger for me.
Bigger for making my money work harder.
And helping my business make it.
Bigger for helping us to buy a home.
Bigger for the community I care about.
My bank is bigger for what matters most. As Australia's most trusted bank, 2.5 million Aussies know that Bendigo Bank is bigger for them. And we're bigger for you.
Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Since 1950, Petters have understood that every customer's journey is different, but our solution remains the same, to get you where you want to go as safely as possible. We believe it's not just the destination that matters, but also the journey, and we are committed to creating better journeys for everyone.
When your world turns upside down, a little help means a lot.
When things changed for our business, our concession discount meant less worry over our water bill. Yarra Valley Water helped us.
And I reckon they can help you too.
Here at Premier Data, we're a sports analytics company that empowers coaches, players, clubs, leagues, and recruiters with unique insights, statistics, along with comprehensive video reports, helping you review past games and plan future strategies. Available on both desktop and our mobile app.
Big Four say they'll be there for life's big moments. But when it comes to getting the support you need when buying a home, shouldn't you go bigger?
With Australia's most satisfied home loan customers, join the bank that's bigger for you. Bendigo.
Welcome back to the Rochford Wines match of the round. Second quarter action between Alexandra and Yeh. And Yeh have the ball in their attacking end. Early days in this second quarter. Welcome back to the Rochford Wines match of the round. Second quarter action is underway with the Tigers. Early days in the attacking end. Jess McDowell has ball in hand. So it's 1 goal the difference. The way of the home side. Thomas looks to go to Spagnolo, but I think she's been called for stepping, so they've turned it over, have the Tigers. Halligan, who's back on the court after a little bit of an ankle problem in that first quarter, but she's back on, so good to see. Pearce nearly lost her footing, but gets that ball moving forward to Hedger. And they've turned it over again. So they get the ball moving out of defence. Thomas, long pass, and they've turned it over, and now looks to be a bit of an issue here with Jess McDowell, who's landed very... oh, dear. Landed very properly on that knee, and that's not looking particularly promising. So Jess McDowell has had to come off, and so we have had to, unfortunately, have an interchange. Ellie Hendry's going to come into the centre. Jess McDowell's pulled up very sore on, I think it was the left knee. Halligan gets the Rebels moving forward. Hedger goes back to Pearce. Gesler. Georgia Gesler. And Hedger eventually to Gesler, who could extend the margin to 2 goals, and cleverly done off the rebound, Georgia Gesler. Maybe with a third opportunity. No, Hedger maybe. And eventually they get one back to the Rebels, so they get the margin back out to 2 goals. Pearce, Gesler, underground to Haggis. Retreats to Pearce. Hedger. And Ellie Hedger will get a look. And Ellie Hedger will get a second opportunity. So Kennedy taken out of the contest. Ellie Hedger converts. So she gets another goal in game 100 and extends the Rebels' margin to 3 goals. Spagnolo got it from Hendry. They work it around to the Tigers. Sunblom made a pretty tough one work. Spagnolo will get it from Hendry. Can she convert just Spagnolo? Maybe Sunblom. Can she get it back to 2 goals the difference? You bet she can. 18-16. So pretty tight contest in the Rochford Wines match of the round. Pearce got it from Hedger. Hedger back to Haggis and then on to Gesler. And Gesler, nicely done. Gesler converts. There we go. 19-16. 3 goals the difference. Here we go. Out of the centre they go. Thomas called for stepping. There you go. Umpire's right there, so can't argue with that decision. Sunblom. Thomas. Will she go to Spagnolo? No, she'll go further to Sunblom. And Sunblom did really well in that 1-on-1 up against... I believe that was Jasmine Collette, who's goalkeeper. McLeod's having some time off on the interchange bench. Long feed, good feed to Gesler. Back to Pearce, and then Gesler gets herself into a better spot. And doesn't extend the margin. Maybe Hedger can. So Ellie Hedger will go again, and this time she will convert, and she'll get the margin back to a 3-goal difference, 20-17. So Hendry with the centre pass duties, who's had to step in with Jess McDowell pulling up sore on that left knee. Hendry looks around. Spagnolo, Thomas. Spagnolo, oh gee, it was a shaky feed, but it worked out to Sunblom, who really needs to convert here for the Tigers, and she does. Gets it back to 2 goals the difference. So Caitlin Haggis in the centre for the Rebels, and just goes short to Hedger. Comes back to Halligan. Good long pass. Hedger got it from Pearce. Out to Gesler. So Georgia Gesler again. Can she get the response for the Rebels? Not on this occasion. Hedger tried to keep it in and was unable to do so. So Kennedy out of defence to Beattie. Back to Kennedy. Skipworth looks at Hendry. That's where she'll go. Pass goes up to Thomas and then comes back to Skipworth. Looks at Beattie, but then again forward to Thomas. Long pass is a good one to Spagnolo. Here is Sunblom. So Mick Sunblom converts, gets it back to a 1-goal difference. And suddenly, Yea are right back in this game. They've got the last 2 goals, and Ellie Hendry's got the centre pass. In fact, it's just Kennedy who's gone into the centre. My apologies. So Kennedy does it nicely. To Sunblom, who converts and scores a level. Once again in the Rochford Wines match of the round. And what a tight tussle we've got so far. So out they go. Long pass from Hedger is a good one. Gesler's on the end of it. And Georgia Gesler converts and again just gets it back to a 1-goal difference, 21-20. So Kennedy out of the centre. Sunblom retreats back to Kennedy. Thomas. Spagnolo. Once again to Thomas. Kennedy did really well on a 1-on-1 against Haggis. Puts it up for Sunblom, who gets it out the back. Had to keep it in play, but she didn't. Unable to complete the job. So Collette will go short. That was to Jung Fur. Haggis made it work. It was a bit of a tricky one. She finds Pears. Pears. Jung Fur once again is involved. Haggis will go short to Hedger. Ellie Hedger, will she line him up? Yes, she will. No, she won't. Little short feed to Gesler, who gets it back out to a 2-goal difference. And once again, Alexandra find a break, 22-20. Haggis. Nicely done. Pears moves on to Gesler and gets it to Hedger out the back. And suddenly Alexandra find themselves with another break, 23-20. Just as Yea clawed their way back into the contest, the Rebels just get the breathing room back. So we'll come back. Kennedy assesses the options, goes to Sunblom. Sunblom found Thomas. She'll go back to Kennedy. The Alex defence holding up well. Sunblom eventually gets it under her control. Thomas goes to Spagnolo, who will line them up, and Spagnolo doesn't convert. Through a couple of sets of hands, Caitlin Haggis beautifully done, and she gets the Rebels moving out of defence. It was knocked away by Skipworth, but it will stay with the Rebels. So Jung Fur can go short to Halligan, but she goes further ahead to Pears. Pears, short pass, good one. Little underground one goes back to Haggis, and here is Gesler, who can make this a 4-goal difference for Alexandra, and she does, 24-20. So once again, the Rebels can start things off. That ball goes through hands. Back it comes. Taylor gets the moving out of defence. Long pass through the hands of Kennedy, but she regathers control. Spagnolo looks to go back to Kennedy. Came off the hands of Haggis, so Kennedy will regain possession of the ball. Can they find a response here, the Tigers? Kennedy to Thomas. And they've coughed it up once again. Jung Fur got it from Collette. Halligan gets it moving. Haggis did that really well. She finds Pears. Pears back to Jung Fur. Into the attacking third to Hedger. Pears again is involved. Looks for Haggis, goes for it. Short pass, good one. Haggis. Hedger, can she make this a 5-goal difference for Alexandra? She can. So Ellie Hedger gets another goal in her 100th game, 25-20. So Kennedy out of the centre. Gee, Spagnolo did well. The pass looked like it had a bit too much on it. And I think they've forced the turnover. Hedger did really well. Jung Fur to Halligan. Back to Jung Fur. Short pass is a good one. Pears. Halligan. Now Gesler. Hedger looks to go back to Gesler. She has to offload though to Pears. Hedger again is involved. Haggis feeds it back to Hedger. He'll get another look at goal. Ellie Hedger, and she converts another one. 26-20. And this is the biggest lead of the game so far for the Rebels, and more importantly for them, Haggis has got the centre pass. She wastes no time to hedge her. On to Pears. Wanted to go to Gesler, but now Yaya forced the turnover. Taylor out of defence, goes to Kennedy. Taylor, Kennedy, Beattie, back to Kennedy. Lateral pass is a good one to Skipworth. Back to Kennedy, really good work rate from Kennedy, but she's turned it straight over. Caitlin Haggis. It was a bullet of a pass, and she cut it off beautifully. Collette to Jungfer eventually just knocks it away, and that'll work out in the end to Halligan. She finds Pears. Pears over the top nicely to Hedger. Wants to go laterally, but retreats back to Jungfer. Haggis, Gesler. And now can Alexandra get it to 7 goals? They can. 27-20 in the back half of this second quarter. And the Rebels really have some handy breathing room. So Kennedy out of the centre. Waste no time to Spagnolo. Beautifully cut off, though. Halligan, how about that? So clean. Comes out wide from Pears. She went to Jungfer. He goes back to Pears. Hedger knocked away by Taylor, who eventually gathers the ball, and she goes out wide. Found Spagnolo. Spagnolo comes inboard to Beattie. Looks up ahead of her. Gets it to Sunblom, works her way up the court. Goes out wide to Thomas. Knocked away by Jungfer. Gathered beautifully by Collette. Comes back to Jungfer, who moves up the line to Hedger. Lateral pass is a good one. Haggis had plenty of room to work with. Waits, and then eventually onto Pears. And the ball finds its way into Alexandra's circle. Hedger did well, over the top to Gesler, who makes it an 8-goal difference, 28 goals to 20. So here we go out of the centre once again for Alexandra. Haggis to Pears, goes back to Caitlin Haggis, good feed. Gesler, oh no, Georgia Gesler just had a little brain fade. She's turned it straight over. So Yay on the counter attack. Long pass from Skipworth is a good one to Sunblom, who comes back to Thomas. Looks at Spagnolo, gets it to her. She goes underground. Chaos ball. Sunblom again. Kennedy and Spagnolo gets one back for the Tigers. 21-28. So back in the centre again for Kennedy. Quick pass, good one to Sunblom. Sunblom laterally, nicely. It'll go underground. And this one worked over the top nicely. Comes back inboard. Cut off beautifully, though, by Halligan. So this is Collette. Jungfer. Halligan. Waits and then goes out wide again to Jungfer, who goes back to Halligan. Finds Pears. They're inside the attacking third now, the Rebels. Haggis to Hedger. Back to Haggis. Puts it up, and again Gesler on the end of one. And Georgia Gesler converts another goal. And again gets his margin back out to 8 goals. So Alexandra really with some ascendancy in the first half of this game. Pears looked to go to Hedger, but it was beautifully cut up by Skipworth, who wasted no time to Kennedy. And she took too long. The Rebels are going to get it back. And here is Gesler over the back. She can put this back out to a 9-goal difference, and she does, 30-21. So Jess Kennedy again with a centre pass. Gets it to Liz Thomas, but they've broken too early, have they? So Halligan will get it from Jungfer. She'll go back to Jungfer. Looks at Pears. Beautifully done by Beattie. Gets it back for the Tigers. Liz Thomas came up to meet it. Spagnolo, in fact. Back it comes to Skipworth. On to Kennedy, and here is Sunblom. And she needs to get this back to an 8-goal difference, and eventually she does do that. Back to 8 goals, 30-22. So once again, Caitlin Haggis with a centre pass. Goes out wide to Pears. It'll come back to Haggis. Pops one over the top to Hendry, and she quickly offloads to Gesler, who doesn't convert. Haggis, though, gets it back under her control, but Skipworth did really well, been one of the better players for Yay today. Kennedy over the top to Spagnolo, gets it moving forward to Thomas. She'll go out wide to Kennedy, has Sunblom up ahead of her, wasn't expecting the pass, but she collected it cleanly nonetheless. And now Spagnolo with an opportunity, and she's got it. Back-to-back goals for Yay, back to 7 goals the difference. And Kennedy has the centre pass, so really important for the Tigers they convert off this opportunity. Spagnolo knocked away by Collette, but Yay still have possession. Kennedy, short feed to Spagnolo, who converts, and they've got 3 in a row, the Tigers, back to 6 goals the difference. So Kate Haggis again with a centre pass, goes out wide, good one. Inboard, Nice hit under Halligan. Hedger and then Pears. Gesler. Georgia Gesler does not convert, and she's turned it over Skipworth. So once again, the Tigers on the counter attack. Can they find another goal before half time? Spagnolo, long, kept in play. Had to be offside, you would have thought. And that is half time of the Rochford Wines match of the round. So after a pretty tight first quarter, the Rebels have found a pretty handy margin heading into the main change. It is 30-24. The way of the home side. We'll head off to our break for half-time here in the Rochford Wines match of the round up at Alexandra. And when we come back, we will have all the action from the second half.
It's better than a Big Four bank.
A bank that's bigger for me.
Bigger for making my money work harder.
And helping my business make it.
Bigger for helping us to buy a home.
Bigger for the community I care about.
My bank is bigger for what matters most. As Australia's most trusted bank, 2.5 million Aussies know that Bendigo Bank is bigger for them. And we're bigger for you.
Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Since 1950, Pedders have understood that every customer's journey is different, but our solution remains the same, to get you where you want to go as safely as possible. We believe it's not just the destination that matters, but also the journey, and we are committed to creating better journeys for everyone.
When your world turns upside down, a little help means a lot.
When things changed for our business, our concession discount meant less worry over our water bill. Yarra Valley Water helped us.
And I reckon they can help you too.
Here at Premier Data, we're a sports analytics company that empowers coaches, players, clubs, leagues, and recruiters with unique insights, statistics, along with comprehensive video reports, helping you review past games and plan future strategies. Available on both desktop and our mobile app.
Big Four say they'll be there for life's big moments. But when it comes to getting the support you need when buying a home, shouldn't you go bigger?
With Australia's most satisfied home loan customers, join the bank that's bigger for you. Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
G'day, Stevie Baker here, 200 Gamer at the Mighty Saints. I'm here to tell you to download the local Footy Hub app. You've got everything you need all in one app.
You know what's better than a Big Four bank?
A bank that's bigger for me.
Bigger for making my money work harder.
And helping my business make it.
Bigger for helping us to buy a home.
Bigger for the community I care about.
My bank is bigger for what matters most. As Australia's most trusted bank, 2.5 million Aussies know that Bendigo Bank is bigger for them. And we're bigger for you.
Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Since 1950, Pedders have understood that every customer's journey is different, but our solution remains the same, to get you where you want to go as safely as possible. We believe it's not just the destination that matters, but also the journey.
Well, welcome back to the Rochford Wines match of the round, third quarter action. Alexandra currently 6 goals in the lead as Jung Fur finds herself in possession of the ball. And they work it around to the Rebels. In fact, I think Jung Fur's actually moved into the centre. I think that might have been Tegan Halligan in wing defence. And they get the first goal of the second half to the Rebels. So Jung Fur with the centre pass. So they work it around the Rebels. Piers. Gessler's got it. And Georgia Gessler could have made that 8 goals a difference, but didn't convert the opportunity. So Taylor. Hendry over the top. Nicely done. Beattie is involved. Here is Kennedy. Long pass is a good one. Onto Beattie, and she's turned it straight over there, and Skian did really nicely. Halligan onto Jung Fur. Piers. Here is Hedger in game 100. All the way across back to Skian. Into the hands of Jung Fur. Finds Hedger. Does she line up the goals? No, not on this occasion. Piers will go back to Hedger, and she'll get a look this time. Ellie Hedger, can she make this an 8-goal difference? No, she can't. A bit too much on it. So Alicia McLeod goes to Taylor. Taylor up the line. Good one to Kennedy. Goes to Beattie, who's moved into wing attack. Through hands. Spagnolo. Looks around and it's turned over. Or is it? No, it's going to stay with the Tigers. So still with Meg Sunblom. Look away pass and thumped away by Collette. Sunblom, Kennedy, Spagnolo this time converts and gets it back to 6 goals the difference, 31-25. So out it goes. Short pass, good one. Sunblom. Back to Beattie, little underground. It's anyone's ball to be won here and eventually ends up in the hands of Halligan, who found Jung Fur, goes across to Skian, moves it up the line nicely to Hedger. Hedger looks around and goes back to Skian. And eventually they get inside the attacking third here. Piers, Hedger, back to Piers. Hedger nearly had it stolen by McLeod, but she couldn't finish the job. So now Ellie Hedger gets a look. Is it kept in? Yes, it is, but it was nicely done by Skipworth, who wasted no time to Taylor. Thomas has come back onto the court. Here is Spagnolo. She'll go back to Thomas. Underground, works out nicely to Sunblom. Thomas. Couple of 1-2s, and eventually... Agnola really wasn't happy with the spot, but she made it work in the end. And more importantly for Yea, she gets it back to a 5-goal difference. Jung Fur, Hedger, Halligan, back to Hedger, back to Halligan. Looks at Jung Fur, but goes short to Piers. Hedger, nicely done. Gessler with plenty of room out the back, and she should get this back to 6 goals, and she does, 32-26. And this is a centre pass for Jess Kennedy. Thomas, nicely done. It'll come back. Through the hands of Kennedy, and it's been turned over beautifully by Hedger. She'll go out wide. Nicely done to Jung Fur. She'll come back to Piers. Once again, here is Halligan. Gets it moving on to Piers. Gessler with a bit of work done up the court. Looks around. Goes across. It was knocked away by, I think, Beattie, who's now moved into the centre. So she's everywhere at the moment, Jordan Beattie. She was wing attack moments ago, and now she's centre. So Hedger to Gessler. And Georgia Gessler does not convert. And they'll go back the other way here, will the Tigers, through a couple of sets of hands. Eventually ends up to Spagnolo, who goes across to Thomas. Really nicely done. As they work it around. Thomas did beautifully to Sunblom, who needs to get this back to 5 goals. And And she's got it 32-27. So they work it around. Jung Fur to Halligan. Halligan laterally to Skian. Long pass, good one back to Jung Fur. Hedger. Ellie Hedger. Gesler. And Georgia Gesler will convert. Nicely done. Short pass is a good one. They'll go laterally. Kennedy's back on. This time was wing attack. And Meg Sumblom, more importantly, has a look at goal, doesn't convert, knocked away by Collette and straight into the hands of Jung Fur. Looked at Skian, and she took too long. Here's an opportunity for Yay. Spagnolo, Beattie, and now Spagnolo. Skian taken out of it. And Chelsea Spagnolo shoots truly, gets it back to 5 goals of difference. Jung Fur goes out wide to Pears. Long pass. Skipworth. It was McLeod, sorry, in fact. Couldn't keep it in play. Jung Fur up and under ball. Comes into the hands of Ellie Hedger, who gets it to Gesler. Can she get it back to 6 goals the difference? Not with the first opportunity, but with the second she can. 34-28. So they've been able to hold this margin down from the moment. Alexandra, desperately trying to whittle it away, but hasn't been easy going for them. Beattie eventually gets it under her control through hands, but eventually ends up with Spagnolo. Kennedy tracked it back nicely, didn't let it go out of play. Offloads it probably just in time. Now, how will the umpire see this? It is going to stay with the Tigers. Back it goes. Short pass, good one. And beautifully done into the hands of Sunblom. She converts. And back to 5 goals the difference, 34-29. As they work it around, it'll come back to Skian. Skian, a long pass. Good pass it was as well. Pears over the top to Gesler, who... It's going to stay with Alexandra, so it must have come off the hands of McLeod. Hedger. And I think another contact call. So Ellie Hedger across to Pears. Wants to go back to Hedger. Pears looks at Gesler. No. Does go to Hedger. She just pops it over the top nicely to Gesler. And again gets it back to a 6 goal difference. So no real breaks in play for the moment, which works out if you're on the side of Alexandra. Not so much for Jaegers. They're still 6 goals in arrears. Sunblom comes back to Kennedy. Short one to Spagnolo. Doesn't want to have a look at goal from here. Kennedy back to Spagnolo, who does decide to line them up and unable to convert, and it trickles out of play. So a little win for Alexandra in defence. Collette did nicely over the top from Skian into the hands of Halligan to Haggis, who's come back onto the court. Hedger. Halligan. Haggis. Eventually goes to Hedger. And Ellie Hedger, can she make the 7 goals a difference? Short pass. So Jung Fur, long pass. Hedger did nicely. Haggis, who's come into wing attack. Hedger, does she have a look at goal? No, she doesn't. Tries to go back to Haggis, but Yaya forced the turnover. Very important that they did that. They need to try and get this margin back to 6 goals again. Taylor, Kennedy, Taylor again. Gets it moving forward to Spagnolo. Comes out wide to Sunblom. She'll go back to Beattie. Short pass is a good one. Oh, up and under ball, and here we go. Sunblom was involved. Meg Sunblom converts, gets it back to 6 goals the difference. Beattie wastes no time to get it to Spagnolo, who moves on to Kennedy. Long feed is a good one to Sunblom. Won't have a look at goal from here, though. Beattie, Spagnolo, or Skian. Spagnolo. And yay, we'll get back-to-back goals through Meg Sunblom. They get it back to 5 goals the difference. Can they force a turnover here? Jung Fur in the centre. Did well. Hedger will go back to Jung Fur. Haggis called for it, won't get it. It'll come over the top, and here is Gesler, who can get a responding goal for Alexandra. Back to 6 goals the difference, 37-31. Kennedy over the top, and we'll go back to Beattie. Through hands, Skian did well, kept it in play. Long pass was a good one to Jung Fur. She'll go short to Hedger. Hedger back to Skian. Good work right up the court. Knocked away by Taylor. But we'll stay with the Rebels. Long pass. Oh, beautifully done by McLeod. Read that ball beautifully. And it does have to come back, but an important interception there for the Tigers. Skipworth, Haggis. Does she keep it in play? She did, but turned it over anyway. So Ye continued to counter-attack, and here is Sunblom. Can she get it back to 5? She can, 37-32. Beautifully done by the Tigers. It was a bit chaotic, but it resulted in a goal, most importantly. Jung Fur got it from Hedger. Jung Fur and Ellie Hedger again. Gets another look at goal in her 100th game, and she does convert, 38-32. So here we go once again. Kennedy got it from Spagnolo, found Sunblom, and then back to Kennedy. Spagnolo won't have a look at goal, works it around to Beattie, and Sunblom. Eventually it rolls in. It bobbled for a long time, but Ye get a much-needed goal, and back to 5 goals the difference. Long pass to Haggis. Works out. Here is Hedger. Ellie Hedger for another goal in game 100. No, doesn't convert, but maybe she'll get it this time. Yes, she will. Back to 6 goals. Instant response for the Rebels, 39-33. And they've just always had the response here. Every time Ye seem like they're going to get their way back into it, they've just held their composure of Alexandra. Ball off hands, but it works out in the end. Beattie wasted no time to Spagnolo, who found Sunblom. And every shot of goal for Ye, so crucial. They're still 5 goals in arrears, but they're not giving up yet. Jung Fur, Hedger, Haggis, wants Jesler, but decided Hedge was a better option, and she did get it to Gesler. And once again, Alexandra get the instant reply, 40-34, as we start to near three-quarter time. Out it comes, and here we go. Disappointing result for Ye. They're broken too early. Jung Fur on the end of this pass. Hedger. Little short one to Haggis. Puts it up, and Gesler will get another look at goal, and she puts the margin out to 7, 41-34. And Claire Jung Fur has the centre pass. She'll go short. It's a good one too to Hedger. Long feed. Gesler, does she keep it in, or is it kept in play by McLeod? Umpire happy to allow it? No. So Jung Fur tucked away in the pocket. Can just go short to Haggis, and that's exactly what she does. This might be turned over. No, Gesler up against 2 Ye defenders, did beautifully, and she converts, more importantly, and gets the margin back out to an 8-goal difference, 42-34. Short pass, good one. Kennedy to Sunblom. Wanted to go back to Beattie, but beautifully cut off there by Halligan. Wasted no time. Haggis has got it now. Long pass. Here is Gesler. Hedger. Ellie Hedger to make it a 9-goal difference, and she's got it, 43-34. And suddenly Alexandra with a huge margin heading into the final change. Halligan to Jung Fur through hands, and McLeod did well, gather the ball cleanly. Kennedy's got it now. Comes back to Taylor. Beattie. Good long pass, works out to Spagnolo, through the hands of Kennedy, but she made it work eventually, wants to go back to Spagnolo. She'll get it to Sunblom. Meg Sunblom doesn't convert, and Alexandra are going to win it back. So a disappointing result on the counter-attack there for the Tigers. Collette offloads to Skian. Short pass to Halligan. Back to Skian, but they've turned it over, have they? Yes, they have. So maybe they can go back the other way here, the Rebels, or sorry, the Tigers, in fact. Knocked away. Oh, no, just like that. Halligan gets the ball straight back for Alexandra. The pass from Skeen was effective, but it didn't matter in the end. They've still got ball in hand here to the Rebels. Hedger over the top to Gesler. Won't have the look at goal because she... Ooh. So it comes out wide. Taylor. Skipworth. Eventually it worked out to McLeod, who was right at a measure there, so it was a tricky one to handle, but she made it work through the hands of Spagnolo, and Skian forces the turnover. Hedges got ball in hand for the moment, comes across to Halligan. Long pass. Haggis controlled that beautifully. Jungfur, a little underground to Hedger. Ellie Hedger, can she make this a 10-goal difference? She can. And she gets another goal in game 100. 44-34. Nearing three-quarter time. Beattie to Kennedy. Long pass, good one to Sunblom. Comes back to Beattie. Will they work it around? Yes, they will. Short pass, good one to Halligan. Unsure where to go. Eventually gets it moving forward to Skian. And that is three-quarter time, and the Rochford Wines match of the round. And the Rebels continue to stretch the margin. It was 6 goals at halftime. It's now 10 goals at three-quarter time. We'll head off to a break for the final change here at Alexandra. And when we come back, we'll have all the action from the final quarter.
It's better than a Big Four bank.
A bank that's bigger for me.
Bigger for making my money work harder.
And helping my business make it.
Bigger for helping us to buy a home.
Bigger for the community I care about.
My bank is bigger for what matters most. As Australia's most trusted bank, 2.5 million Aussies know that Bendigo Bank is bigger for them. And we're bigger for you.
Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Since 1950, Petters have understood that every customer's journey is different, but our solution remains the same, to get you where you want to go as safely as possible. We believe it's not just the destination that matters, but also the journey, and we are committed to creating better journeys for everyone.
When your world turns upside down, a little help means a lot.
When things changed for our business, our concession discount meant less worry over our water bill. Yarra Valley Water helped us.
And I reckon they can help you too.
Here at Premier Data, we're a sports analytics company that empowers coaches, players, clubs, leagues, and recruiters with unique insights, statistics, along with comprehensive video reports, helping you review past games and plan future strategies. Available on both desktop and our mobile app.
Big Four say they'll be there for life's big moments. But when it comes to getting the support you need when buying a home, shouldn't you go bigger?
With Australia's most satisfied home loan customers, join the bank that's bigger for you. Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
G'day, Stevie Baker here, 200 Gamer at the Mighty Saints. I'm here to tell you to download the local Footy Hub app.
The last quarter of the year, Rochford Wines match the round between Alexandra and Yea. And as we get proceedings in the final quarter underway, it is a 10-goal difference for the home side, who've been very strong today. And it is currently in Alexandra's attacking third. Hedger in her 100th game had a really good one as well, it has to be said. And Ellie Hedger gets another look and knocked away. And Yea will force a turnover, so long pass at the line's a good one to Beattie, who's moved into wing attack. McLeod over the top, and Haggis forces a turnover, and they'll come back the other way. Pearce, Skian, good pass, moving it forward to Hedger, looks around, comes back to Halligan. Haggis. This is Pearce. So they'll work it around a couple of times. And Georgia Gesler gets the first goal of the last quarter, 45-34, an 11-goal difference. Nice pass to Sundblom, and Meg Sundblom could put this out to a 10-goal difference. And on the second opportunity, she does exactly that, 45-35. So Caitlin Haggis again with a centre pass. Comes out wide. That should work out. Nicely done. Good long one to Gesler. Short to Haggis. Eventually gets it under her control. And here is Georgia Gesler. And it was knocked away from her. And Georgia Gesler will get a second look. And maybe with a third opportunity. Eventually gets it 46-35. So Kennedy back in the centre for Yeh. On to Beattie. Goes short to Taylor. Kennedy again is involved. Back to Beattie. Spagnolo. Sundblom. Collected nicely and probably got a bit of contact from Colette anyway. She'll go short to Spagnolo's a little bit closer but won't convert. Sundblom did well off the hands. Now Halligan taken out of it. Meg Sundblom knocked away again. Halligan giving away contact, and eventually Meg Sundblom does convert, gets it back to 10 goals, the difference, 46-36. So Haggis out wide. It should work. It does eventually. Halligan nicely to Pearce over the top to Haggis. Short pass, good one to Hedger. And Ellie Hedger pops out. Anyone's ball to be won here. Eventually ends up in the hands of Taylor. So Yeh on the counter attack, and they get back-to-back goals and whittle it down to a 9-goal difference. Out wide to Kennedy with plenty of room to work with. Moves it up the line. Nicely done to Beattie. Onto Sundblom. Comes back to Beattie. Looking for Spagnolo, and she'll get it to her. Spagnolo back to Beattie. Knocked away by Skian. Has to come back to Spagnolo. And this has been a bit of an ordeal. So it should work out. Back it comes. And eventually Meg Sundblom. Can she convert? She can. She'll get it back to 9 goals a difference. And so Jess Kennedy's got the centre pass. So really important for Yeh that they convert off this, and they get a bit of a break here because Alex have broken a bit too early. So this will come back to Taylor. Kennedy out wide to Spagnolo. Had a bit of room. Beattie. Sundblom. Here we go. Maybe for 3 goals in a row for the Tigers. So Meg Sundblom. Every goal so crucial for Yeh in this last quarter, and she's got it. So back to 8 goals the difference. Might still be a bit of life in this game, but they have to force a turnover here. Can't leave their run too late, the Tigers. Gesler. Can Alex get a steadier? Here we go. Here is a turnover. Beautifully done by Skipworth, who wasted no time to Beattie. She'll go to Taylor. Short to Kennedy. Back to Beattie. Spagnolo inboard. It'll work out to Kennedy. Moves it on to Beattie. Will she go to Spagnolo? No, she goes to Sundblom. Here we go. This for 4 in a row. Big Sundblom gets it, and it's back to 7 goals the difference. They've got the last 4, the Tigers, and they've got the centre pass. Maybe this game still has a bit of a twist. Sundblom has got it. Meg Sundblom, 5 goals in a row for the Tigers, 40-46. And Alexandra might just want to steady here because Yeh have not given it up. They are still coming. Skian. Long pass. Eventually works out to Pearce. They're desperately trying to win this ball back, though. The Tigers, they've really lifted the intensity. Hedger will come back to Pearce. Gesler. Georgia Gesler gets it. They do get a steady up. Back to 7 goals, 47-40. So that was actually a pretty important one there for Alexandra. Yeh had scored the last 5 and really had some momentum. Kennedy. Long pass is a good one to Sundblom. Short pass, Spagnolo, Sundblom. Every goal so crucial for the Tigers. Meg Sundblom makes no mistake. She handles the moment, gets it back to 6. Now this is where it all happens. Hedger. Haggis. Skian. Hedger again to Gesler, who got front spot. Back to Caitlin Haggis. Oh, nearly cut off by Kennedy. Got a bit of a hand to it, but it won't work out. Haggis. Hedger out the back. Ellie Hedger, can she get the steadier? She can. Beautifully done by Ellie Hedger in game 100. Back to 7 goals the difference, 48-41. And called for stepping, and that was not what Yay needed. They've coughed it up, skiing. Oh, they've turned it straight over, though, Alexandra, so they get a reprieve, Yay. Kennedy fumbles. Oh, gee, another reprieve for the Tigers. Haggis giving away contact, so Skipworth will go to Kennedy, who was all on her own, and now Meg Sunblom with another important opportunity for the Tigers, and she's got it again, back to 6 goals the difference. So Caitlin Haggis out wide, pops it over the top nicely to Pears. Gesler. And she'll get it back to 7 goals the difference, 49-42. Long pass. Sunblom inboard. Kennedy, Spagnolo. With another crucial shot at goal. Spagnolo converts again, back to 6 goals the difference. Haggis looks around eventually. Gets it to Jungfer. Halligan. Haggis. It was nicely done. Through hands. Can Yay get this ball back? Skipworth eventually gets it under her control. She finds Kennedy, and they're on the counter. It is absolute chaos ball, but it should work out in the end. Spagnolo. And now they've regained a bit of composure here. The Tigers, they're inside the attacking third. Spagnolo. Sunblom. To get it back to 5 goals, the difference. No, she doesn't convert, but maybe with a second opportunity. And she does. It's back to 5 goals, 44-49. And Yay are not done with yet. They are coming hard in this last quarter. Spagnolo has to get rid of it. Nearly used the 3 seconds of allotment, but she manages to make it work. Meg Sunblom again for back-to-back goals for the Tigers. And to get it back to 4 goals, the difference. And she doesn't convert. And Skian held her composure beautifully. Halligan, long one up the line is a good one to Pears. Over the top to Hedger. Looks around. Short, and Halligan is involved again. Eventually offloads to Haggis. She'll go out wide to Hedger. Haggis, Hedger, a couple of 1-2s. Hedger gets it under her control. And she'll have a look, Ellie Hedger, and she's got it. Back to 6 goals, and they get a response, Alexandra. Good composure from Ellie Hedger in her 100th game. And she's got it again. Halligan, back to Hedger. Short pass is a good one. Haggis out wide to Pears, and Hedger's got it again. And Ellie Hedger has got another one. Back-to-back goals. And she's just putting out this little spot fire that Yay have suddenly put upon them. Long pass to Sunblom. Kennedy, Sunblom is going to end up with it. It was very good work rate. And she rewards herself with a goal, gets it back to 6 goals the difference. So Haggis, they've coughed it up, Alexandra. So Yay have forced another interception. Skipworth, Kennedy. They work it around here a bit. Short pass is a good one. Beattie, Sunblom. Another opportunity to get it back to 5. She's got it. Kennedy has the centre pass. 51-46. Can't be a whole lot of time left, you would think. But Yay have been gallant in this last quarter. They have just not wanted to give it away. Sunblom. Oh, no, the ball rebounds off the post. Sunblom gets it eventually, but she's given away contact. Oh, can you believe that? So Alexandra get away with one. Halligan, nicely done to Haggis. Oh, Jungfer, don't tell me. Pears does well. Good composure from Pears, and that's a good one to Haggis. Looks around, through hands. They're on the counter-attack again, Yay. It's a comedy of errors. Taylor looks around, through hands, but it ends up with Sunblom. Sorry, that was Spagnolo, in fact. Beattie, good one, and it'll work out. Meg Sunblom, can she get it back to 4 goals? She can, 51-47. Is there still time for Yay? We won't know just yet. Can Alexandra just cool things down? Halligan to Pears. Gesler, Hedger. Gesler has got it. Doesn't want to have a look at goal, though. She'll go back to Piers. Gesler. This for a steadier for the Rebels. And she's got a Georgia Gesler. Composed as ever. Such a crucial goal, that one for Alexandra, because Yay are really making some inroads in this last quarter. Kennedy through the hands, but it ends up with Spagnola, but she fumbles and Haggis was onto it in a flash. Skiing. Oh, they've turned it over again. Kennedy will just let it roll out of play. Such tense moments in this last quarter. It comes inboard to Skipworth. Kennedy, long one, good one to Sunblom. She'll go back to Beattie. Sunblom calls for it. Spagnolo. Oh, how's the feed? Oh, brilliant done by Halligan. So composed. Gets it to Jungfur. She'll go back to Halligan. Short one is a good one to Hedger. Comes inboard. Jungfur again is involved. So too Halligan. Haggis. Gesler. Or Gesler, sorry, in fact. Georgia Gesler to get it back to 6 goals. And it bobbles, but it drops in. And Caitlin Haggis happy to just whittle away a few seconds. Piers waits and then comes back to Jungfur. Back to Halligan. Hedger. Short one. Jungfur a little underground. Should work out okay. And now it's brought forward to Ellie Hedger. And if she can get this out to 7 goals, I reckon Alexandra will just about be home. And they've had a lot thrown at them in this last quarter. But I reckon they're just about safe now, the Rebels. It can't be too long to go. It's been a gallant fight back from Yay, but I think it might just come up a bit short. Sunblom won't convert. Through a couple of sets of hands, Spagnolo eventually gets it under her control. And Sunblom ends up with it again. And big Sunblom. Back it goes. And there we go. Meg Sunblom gets one back 54-48. Haggis. Hedger. Back to Haggis, and here is Gesler. Gesler doesn't convert. Thumped away, but it should end up straight at the hands of Halligan. Read the ball beautifully. Comes out wide to Hedger over the top to Gesler, who'll get another look. And Georgia Gesler makes no mistake. Back to 7 goals the difference, 55-48. So Kennedy knows she's got to be quick, and she wastes no time. She'll get it back from Beattie. Looks around. Spagnolo. Out wide, back to Kennedy. Short pass, good one. And through a couple of sets of hands. Does it stay in? No, it doesn't. Stays with Yay, and here is Meg Sunblom. And she's got it, 55-49. And here we go. Yaya force a turnover. Taylor to Kennedy. Knocked away by Skian, but it's straight to the hands of Taylor. Kennedy, Beattie, Spagnolo to Sunblom. She can get back to 5 goals here if she shoots truly. Beattie, Spagnolo. Turned over beautifully done by Skian. Piers just waits. Jungfur. They look around. Short pass is good one to Haggis. And they're happy to hold the ball. And that will do us in the Rochford Wines match of the round. And Alexandra do hold on. It was a good fight back from Yay in the last quarter. They cut the margin from 10 goals back down to 6 and even got as close as 4. But the home side come away with a much needed victory. They get their second win for the season and they will stay in touch with the top 5 for season 2025. And we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to Game Faces coverage of our Rochford Wines match of the round here between Alexandra and Yay. Don't forget, at 2:20pm, we will have the match-up in the footy between Alexandra and Yay at 2:20pm, available to you through the local footy hub and Yarra Valley FM 99.1. So thanks for tuning in and goodbye for now.